because you're not going to have room after a heavy meal. So I wanted to get to the dessert question, first of all. And it occurs to me that the two of you have something in common, and that you both worked with Lindsay Anderson.
Oh!
Lindsay Anderson was in Chariots of Fire, and of course Mick Travis.
Of course, yes.
So I'd like to maybe talk about that for a few minutes.
Well, you don't want to hear me go off about Lindsay Anderson.
I've seen Never Apologize.
No, you must, because
I could
he did a one-man
talk
show
forever.
about it.
He was genius. He was, and more importantly, he was a dear friend. I was so lucky. I was a young actor who never made a film. I had been working there for 4 years before I met him, even though he poo-pooed it. Oh, you don't really understand, Malcolm. Are you going to seriously be in film? Then you ought to know something about it. I mean, of course I've been in it. What are you talking about? I know a lot about film. He goes, oh, really? And then he would quiz me, and of course I failed dismally. Who was the photographer on Shiwari Yellow Ribbon? Oh, and was that John Ford? Of course it was. I said, well, at least I got that right. So all through dinner, it would be, let's humiliate Malcolm, you know. But God, what a powerhouse, what a genius. And it was, you know, like working with it was the education of an Oxford Don to one of his pupils. But not directing. When he was directing, he'd have the time to really talk to you, you know, as a director, actor, really. You know, he loved actors. That's another thing. That's another thing Charlotte has in common with Lindsay Anderson, is she loves her actors. And that's a very important thing, and it's rare.
She's not frightened.
No, not at all.
No,
You're right. You're right.
Some directors don't begin to.
No. And some directors, by the way, who are great directors,
Yes.
they actually are frightened or don't like actors. And Kubrick didn't like actors at all. He was really pissed that the actors had this thing over him. The only thing he couldn't control
So
was
very
actors.
interesting.
Yeah, because he controlled everything else.
Yes.
But if you know, an actor did something or forgot a line or did something he didn't like, gone. Next, I go, why would you fire him? And he'd go, Malcolm. And I knew someone was going to fire him. I go, yeah, this guy. I went, Stanley, we were just rehearsing. You know, why don't you talk to him? You know, tell him. You know, he's a great actor. And that's the way. You know, actors like to rehearse and they'll get there. But he just doesn't come in with the final performance. You know, you just got to. And he goes, we don't have time for that. I'm moving on. He fired over 20 actors.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Ruthless. Well, the guy comes in, he has a speech this long about the Ludovico technique. He comes in, literally we're on location, foggy London street or whatever, we're waiting outside Bunwell University, and, you know, before we even got coffee, in our heavy coat anoraks, and the guy, you know, is talking to me and saying, hello, Malcolm, I'm very happy to be part of this. I'm playing the doctor. I'm like, great. Oh, God, you have a hell of a lot to say. He goes, I know, yeah. And Stanley comes up and I go, oh, Stanley, do you know Carl? And he goes, oh, yeah, I know Carl. You, okay, yeah. And he looks at his watch and he goes, you know the speech, right? He goes, go. And I went, Stanley, we're just on the street here having a coffee. I mean, you can't expect, he's not going to go through. Let's all have coffee, and we'll go inside, and we'll set it up. And he's like, oh, okay. I mean, it had not even occurred to him. All he had in his mind was, this guy better not, you know, not know his lines, because that's going to really screw my day. You know? Yeah. Frightening, really. But of course,
like that.
No, Lindsay was the answer, but they're both geniuses in their own way. I mean, Kubrick, but you know, Kubrick made these masterpieces in every genre. Every genre. I mean, who would make?
And you watch Barry Lyndon's figure.
I remember a big small snore. I mean, painter
I
would love
liked
that,
it.
of course.
I
Comfortable
loved it.
painting.
It's so fun.
But
Hilarious.
you know, Pounds of Glory.
So good.
What an antique war movie. I mean, it's one of the great. And I'll tell you, I've revisited Lolita. What an amazing movie! Oh my God! With James Mason. Sorry, we're just. This is more interesting. James Mason, who actually I worked with, and I said, "Did you like Stanley?" He went, "Yeah, it's all right." Really?
Very good.
He goes, "Yes, it was all right." How come? Yes. But you know, there's some shots in that.
I remember that you were saying that just on the hula hoop scene, they had like 4 days to shoot.
On the which one?
The hula hoop, and there's like a scene of
God. Well,
that's amazing as well.
Matthew Modine tells a story of the shooting. You know, the Vietnam War thing. What was it called?
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket, which I think is brilliant, but especially the first half. It's amazing. But so he goes up to Stanley and goes, "Stanley, look, my wife's having a cesarean. I have to leave Friday, the birth of my first child." Stanley goes, "Matthew, jeez, I mean, could you make it maybe at the end of the month?" Stanley, no. This is, you know, she's been told the baby has to come out and cesarean. It's all planned. And he goes, "Well, you know, we're shooting the war, and we're not going to be through with that until the week after." And he goes, "Stanley, you know, I mean, I can't help that. I got to go." So all week he's badgering him about changing the date of the birth, right? And he just goes, "Stanley, I'm going to have to go." And he goes, "Oh, Matthew, okay, I mean, you have to go, but I'm telling you now, it's really screwing with everything." And so, anyway, he just said, "Fuck it." And he goes. The wall sequence took another 4 months.
That's amazing.
That kid would have been getting his pension those times. Another 4 months.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He goes, "We're still by this wall. We're still by this wall. I couldn't believe it." That's Stanley.
That's amazing. There's the time to shoot as well, the schedules and stuff. So
Yeah.
amazing.
But Lindsay would never do that. So Lindsay was... Did you get to talk to her, Mike?
No, it was my first movie.
Oh, dear.
I wasn't even there on the day.
Oh, no.
So
no.
Lindsay, I saw him on the silver screen. Yeah, no, I didn't, unfortunately, meet him ever.
You would have loved him. And, you know, you're his kind of actor, if I may say.
Well, there's another series of films that you're both associated with that neither of you were in the same film, which of course is Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. Well, shit.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that.
What about it?
Well, I'm just throwing that out there
Yes,
because
yes.
you know, get to She Will. You don't have any scenes together, the two of you.
Yes, we do.
But you're
Yes, we do.
well.
She plummeted his death.
Well, true.
Yeah.
But physically in the same room, I guess is what I meant.
As who?
You mean Veronica and what's his name?
What's her name?
Yes, we do.
Malcolm.
Oh, Malcolm, the character.
Oh my God, that's so funny. They do have scenes together, but they're shot like as if they're not completely in the same room. But actually, we started the shoot with
Got it.
Malcolm and
Yeah.
Halford.
Halford.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But we never mentioned
I
really his
just-
name.
I don't know.
Halford.
And Veronica has eliminated him from her imagination. Hasbord.
Yeah.
So
We were.
So, yeah.
We had days of shooting.
Yeah,
together
they did
in the same room.
Malcolm kicked off the shoot in Edinburgh. Yeah.
But in the television studio as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he
right, he's walking in the background. I guess because there's no confrontation,
exactly.
it doesn't seem like that. But
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
okay, so Veronica's her revenge is manifested by nature, but she is only able to get in tune with nature after this horrific ordeal of recovering from an operation. Is that correct?
I think so. I think she has some kind of intuitive understanding that she needs to get up there, to get out of London. She's just become unlivable, toxic. And the moment she gets out of the train, she crosses that bridge over the train line. There's
Music's so beautiful.
there's an interesting thing with the trees, and I think there's a premonition on some level of what's about, not what's about to happen, but did you know that?
I got distracted because I was looking at you and thinking, God, you're so beautiful. and then I was telling Malcolm, and then I got distracted about what you were saying. I'm so
The question was that she's not prior to being up in Scotland.
Yeah.
Hasn't really connected with that massive power that is inherent
Yeah, I
in
think
nature.
it's this like kind of this confrontation with mortality. I think, isn't it? That sort of triggers with this surgery, maybe that sort of triggers
What
existential
actually
question,
makes her
journey,
vulnerable
yeah,
to the experience of, because she crosses that bridge and she looks, and it seems to me as if the whole earth has moved, as if it's stirred because she's aware of it. So yeah, she goes up there and just, and for example, when she's in the bath and there's the drop of water falls into the bath, she's penetrated by the spirit of the place. I mean, ancient civilizations believed in the spirit of the place, and I don't know if you know of a place called Fenthorn.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So the divas of the place infuse her being.
I used to want to go to Fenhorn when
So
I was
did I.
in the 70s because I'd read The Secret Life of Plants.
Yes, me too.
Oh, that's so cool.
So have you read The Call of the Trees?
No.
What is it called? The Landscape Angels?
Yeah, the landscape angels of,
Yeah.
of Fenthorn, but every place has a landscape angel. Dartmoor has a landscape angel. Everywhere has a landscape. But get Call of the Trees, Dorothy
No.
Gray. I give it. Did I give you
Yes.
a copy? I revisit it constantly because it.
Why?
Because she having spent time in Fenthorn, and entered into this experiment. You know about it? Entered into this experiment with the David forces of the place, of the plants. And they grow this garden. Is it possible? It's seaside. And come from all over the world. And so
Sounds amazing.
yeah, it's still there. She leaves eventually because she becomes so aware of the plight of trees on the planet. And like they say, when the bees die, we will die. Well, the trees are saying a similar thing. I mean, there's an amazing. I know this is a diversion. Can we have a bit more time because we've gone so off piece?
Yes, he has an interview next. I'm going to let them know you'll be 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Brandy.
I'm sorry.
Oh, please, no apologies.
We can talk about Fenthorn afterwards.
No,
Yes.
Fenhorn's amazing. I need to go.
But yes, it's not without cause that we wind up doing it, that Charlotte places it in Scotland, because in some ways the veil is very thin in Scotland in some areas of Scotland between all the other dimensions and our sense of what's real. All the other dimensions are very accessible in Scotland, and I think she walks because she's so vulnerable. It's all been opened up again. That she sees it on the television. That he's getting a knighthood. He's casting a new young girl, and the carapace that she has concealed herself with is just ripped open, and she is so exposed and going up to Scotland. The David forces of the place begin to penetrate her too. And we see the consequences.
And nature in Scotland, I guess, is so amazing, right? I mean, the actual landscape. But yeah, it was so beautiful how you called it landscaping. I always love that. So incredible.
Well, you would know that from Call of the Trees, because doesn't she communicate with the landscape angel in that? No, not Call of the Trees.
Secret Life of
Plants.
Yes, in a sense.
Yes.
Well, and again, they're kind of giving me the wrap, but just like a closing question for Charlotte, it seems that this movie is in the tradition of the folk horror genre, which particularly English films are masterful at this.
Oh, which ones?
Well, there was just like Ben Wheatley just came out with a film, In the Earth, or
Yes,
where
I've still got to see. I haven't actually seen
or
it yet.
well,
but
there's
I'm desperate
Field
to
of
see it.
England, but there's the he just came out with this film,
Like
In
the
the Earth.
Wicker Man kind of thing?
Well, yeah.
That's so interesting.
Oh,
No, but I mean, oh, did you? Oh my god. Yeah, no, the Wicker Man's amazing. Yeah, I guess in terms of, like, we didn't think of it as necessarily in terms of genre, but I guess there's all the sort of the world and the history of Scotland that really it has a deep set identity that just by being there in itself, like, sort of taps into folklore and taps into that kind of aesthetic as well and history. And I guess the score also brings out that by sort of voicing the characters that people pass through a sort of choir ensemble type thing, where we've got like these two sort of voices in the score that work together, the group of voices and the singular voice sort of talk to one another. In some ways that probably harks back in an instance to folkloric, traditional
Thank you guys so much.
Michael, are you seeing the picture tonight?